What's up, guys? Welcome to Do Good Movement. Our purpose here is to make a positive impact in our society through real-life education. The movement comes into play when you guys share the content to help other people do good just like you. I'm excited for today's show. I'm going to be introducing you to our guests in a little bit. But first, I want to talk to you about the topic before we get into the heat of the show. Today, we're going to talk about those mental battles. And all of us have them, guys. The mental battles is what holds us back from accomplishing what we want to accomplish and reaching our true potential. It's that little voice inside your head saying, hey, take it easy today. You don't have to do this. Halfway through your exercise, you're good. Go home. When you're going through hard times at work, you don't have to be here. Go find another job. All that voice inside your head that's just really holding you back from being the best person you could be. You have them. I have them. Our guest that I'll be introducing to you has them. We all have them. They don't go away. And so we're also going to be talking about what's that repeatable solution to accomplish this mental battle that we go through, and all these questions that make us question ourselves and what we're doing every single day. And I believe we have all seen somebody that's been very strong, a really good figure, that just crumbled and became very weak. And that's because they didn't overcome that mental battle. They gave into it. They took the easy road. It overcame them. And then all of us have witnessed people that were, let's say, the average person that now have overcame that mental battle and became very strong mentally to get through whatever they want. And now they're crushing it in life and whatever success means to you. So there's not been many people, guys, in the life that I live that I've seen be able to make this transformation as a person when it comes to self-development, to building yourself to be better. A lot of us talk about it, right? But when it actually talks about being about and says, you know what? I'm going to go reach my potential. I'm going to give it everything I have to be the best person I could be or to accomplish this. That's very far and few between. Why? Because those mental battles, that mental war that you're always going through, sometimes it's too hard to get over for some people. But the crazy thing is, and we'll be talking about it, once you could overcome that mental battle that comes in your head, you could go accomplish anything and become very great. So when I talk about I have not seen many people make this transformation, one of the people today that I've seen make this transformation that I'm extremely proud of is our guest, Jordon Collom.
Yeah, thanks.
Jordon is actually my brother-in-law. I've known Jordon since, 12 years, 14 years now?
Yeah, I can't even keep track. Long time.
Yeah, so I've been able to see Jordon grow up and also just go through, the different stages of life. And recently, Jordon and I were having a conversation. He decided to come and work out with me one day. And I'm like, all right, let's go, and we started getting deep into like, why are you doing this? Like what made, he did 75 hard, things like that. And I said, what made you want to do the transformation? And Jordon and I got into talking about his story and some of these mental battles that he's overcame. And I'm like, holy shit, we need to get him on here to share with you guys. Cause what I've been through, what Jordon's been through and overcame is just, it's too great not to talk about because I know that everybody's going through this today. So, Jordon, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? And let's talk about some of those mental battles that you've had.
Oh, well, first off, I want to just say thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And I'm Jordon Collom. I'm 26 years old. I work with my mom and my aunt, a family business, property management company, and what I would, I guess, identify myself as is a tournament bass fisherman.
That's right.
Yeah. And
walk us through what bass fishing is, just so everybody understands how crazy of a sport this is.
So, in a nutshell, tournament bass fishing is there's circuits, so there's a lake that's on the schedule. Anywhere between 50 to 250 guys show up. We have 3 days of competition, and during that 8 hours, or each day is 8 hours, and your goal is to catch 5 fish, the 5 biggest fish you can. And each day your weight is tallied up, and a couple of the series, the third day is only the top 10 fish, and yeah, the goal is to catch the 5 biggest fish you can in 8 hours on all artificial lures. And yeah, it sounds easy.
It doesn't. Yeah, it sounds easy, but you're talking a couple hundred people out there trying to catch a big fish. Where's their Is there a technique behind it? Like, what makes somebody in first versus last?
So, like we ride dirt bikes.
Yeah.
I always tell people, riding dirt bikes, you look at, like, for example, the top 10. The top 10 are always pretty stacked. They're always right there. It's the same 10 guys, for example. Like, the guy you see finished in 20th or 15th is never really going to win. The guys who are consistent are always consistent. Bass fishing is a lot like golf. You could be the best guy out there, and the guy has the best day of his life. Just goes out there and kills it.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily fishing against the people around you. It's the person who overcomes the day and assesses each situation. Like, your practice could mean nothing. You go out there, you pre-fish for a week, you practice, you find fish here or there, they're biting this, they're biting that. The weather changes, fishing pressure, things move. It's the person who adapted the best that day. That's basically the guy who wins, guy who capitalized. So a lot of times it's like making the most of every opportunity. It's very hard to win a bass tournament.
It sounds like it. So let's I've seen a huge shift in you mentally. I would say just the last year.
Yeah.
Like Jordon, you guys will get to know Jordon through the show, but very humble guy, very nice guy. Everybody loves him. Carries a ton of energy. And just that happy-go-lucky, right? But then he's going in fishing he's competing as an athlete in a very competitive sport against the best and the best out in the country and looking for the win. And as he's talking about, it's a little bit like golf, and you could go and practice all you want, and then you might not even rank.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're probably just these mental battles that's probably going on consistently. Where did that transformation come from? Like, what when you go out today, you seem a lot more like relaxed, and if you don't get what you want, you're not down like you used to be. You're still happy. You still continue through. You look at the bright side. Like, where did that happen? Like, what made you want to, better yourself and, get more mentally strong?
What's crazy is, I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, I didn't understand necessarily what a mental battle looked like. I understood previously things happened to me, and I had opportunities, and I had opportunities to use things as an excuse. So for example, in fishing, like, I lost a big one. I should have won. I had a victim mentality over a lot of things, and once I started kind of figuring things out in the fishing thing, I had a good season, and I started getting sponsors. After I got some recognition and some people stuck their neck out for me and sponsored me, that year, 2018, was the worst tournament season I've ever had.
Right when you got your sponsorships?
Right when I got sponsored, right when there's people looking at me.
Oh, man.
People are telling me, you're the next guy, like, you're going to go far in this. And
that just adds more pressure, right?
More pressure. I was embarrassed. Like, if I didn't do good, I didn't even want to weigh in. I was embarrassed to be there. I had this mental, I was telling myself, you don't belong here. Basically, I'm not that guy. I would show up beat. And it was horrible. It was just these horrible feelings where, I'd show up to the tournament beat. Like, not a chance. Looking hindsight, you could have put me on the winning bite, winning fish, the best possible case, and I still would have lost. And, like, a perfect example of that, I'll go into, like, a little story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I had there's three normal tournaments in the season, or on the Western Professional Series, and then there's a championship. And I wanted to qualify for the championship, and it was the third stop, so I could qualify, and it was at Clear Lake. And the first day, I caught them really good. And this numbers probably don't mean anything to you, but, like, I had 19 pounds, which is really good at Clear Lake. I was in 5th place. And going out in 5th place, I was so excited. I had all these people on the first day. I'm sitting really good. I gave myself the perfect opportunity to make a top 10, to fish the final day, and I was stoked. I was sitting there. I'm like, finally, like, I'm gonna have a good showing. I'm excited. My mom and dad are gonna drive up. Like, this is cool. Like, my sponsors are with me. Like, the guys I'm staying with, some of my people who are sponsoring me, Anglers Marine, they're all hyped for me. They're patting me on the back. Well, I went out the next day, and conditions were different. Like I was talking about, like, it's more about adapting. And I was so focused on what I did the day before, catching them on this thing at this time. The first day I had a limit by 7 o'clock. So when I didn't have a single fish at 7 o'clock, which is, I have 8 hours. I got all the time in the world.
Right.
I'm only like 30 minutes into the day, and I don't have a limit. I'm starting to judge my day off of the previous day. And next thing you know, I'm totally focused on what I did the day before. Noon rolls around. We weigh in at 3 o'clock usually. Noon rolls around, and I have one fish. And I'm in total panic mode. I am so, it's hard to describe. It's like, it felt like I left my body, and I was just like, when is this day going to be over? I was totally spun out, panicked. I pulled up to, like I said, I kept doing the thing I was doing the day before. Totally different day. It was raining. Everything changed, and I was so stuck on the previous success I had that I was just forcing it. And I was just an autopilot trying to recreate the day before. The guy who won the tournament, my buddy Kyle, saw me during the day, and he asked how I was doing, and I was like, I got one. He's like, I got like 23 pounds. Throw the jig. We're on the spot that he won. This guy won. My buddy Kyle won the tournament. He tells me to throw a jig on the spot he won. I tie on a jig. I throw it out there. I get it snagged. I break it off. I have like a total meltdown. I'm just like, oh. I run to another spot that I fished the day before. Totally bailed on what I knew was going to work. And I I ended up catching a limit, but I had 13 pounds, and I went from 5th place to like 73rd. Didn't even get a check. That was the worst feeling ever because I had the perfect opportunity in my hand, and myself, 100% blew it. Like, I just let it slip. And I realized that I had no one else to blame but me, and I want to live up to my potential. I limited myself. I was my own biggest enemy. I fucked myself over. I just 100% crumbled. And that experience right there, that tournament, shifted my thinking of what do I need to do to be my best? I had the worst possible case thing happen, right? I had the opportunity. All I wanted to do was make a top 10. All I wanted to do was show everyone that I deserved these sponsors, that I deserved to be there, that I was one of the guys, like that, and I blew it. I was like, that was it? Like, after I had like 2 weeks of straight depression. Like,
yeah, I'm sure.
But
it sounds like you hit bottom.
Oh, 100%. But I remember I was sitting there with Hannah, my wife, and it's like, I'm alive. I get to go fishing again. Driving home, I was ready to sell my boat. I was ready to sell all my rods. I was like, I'm over it. I'm done. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to show my face again. Like, it's over. And
I'm sure we've all been there in one thing that we're passionate about.
Yeah. It took me about 2 weeks, and I realized I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm healthy. It was just a fishing tournament. That was the worst possible thing that could happen. That's it. So if I go out and lose, I'm still fine. It's not like a life or death situation. So it made me want to dive into why my mind was so weak and why my mind just crumbled to I couldn't perform. I just 100% choked. Like, you see athletes choke, and I was like from the couch like, oh, that guy sucks. But being in that situation and choking, it's like, that's real. Anxiety, I never wanted to feel that again. So that's why I made that shift to explore. I was on the hunt. Like, what do I need to do to change my thinking? I was talking to everyone I could come across, and I saw you and Kyle start the 75 hard, and I was just watching people around me, and it took me a while to get traction, but I was basically searching for what do I need to do to strengthen my mind.
It's amazing. You got two options when you're going through this road of hitting rock bottom that Jordan's talk about. You either quit, you run away from it, and what happens when you do that is you get stuck at the bottom. And Jordan, from what I'm listening to, decided to take the other option to figure it out, to never stay at that bottom again. And as I said a second ago, we've all been there at the bottom at some point of our life. If it's with there's 1,000 things going on. If it's family, if it's work, whatever business, whatever it might be. And there's a choice that gets to be made right there. I believe that bottom isn't bottom. Bottom is what creates the rebound to hit the highest potential that you've never seen before, if you accept that road and if you're willing to take on those mental battles and accomplish them to get the win. Because, as I said, if you quit right there at the bottom, if you would have quit right there on the bottom, can you imagine where your life would be right now? What the other things you would have quit on, right? It's not just bass fishing. When other shit got hard, you would have just ran from it, right?
Yeah.
And so it says a lot about you to be able to sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to go head on at this thing, and I'm going to go figure a way to get through it and build myself up. I want to hear that now. I want to hear how you just rebounded from bottom.
All right. Well, it took a while. It took about 2 years. I was like on nonstop searching, hungry. I remember I was at one of your parties, and I walk up to Josh Grant, dirt bike racer. I'm like, how do you overcome struggles? Like, how is there a sports I was looking into, I wanted to go to a sports therapist. I wanted to understand what makes a champion. And I got a lot of good answers, and I had a lot of people tell me things. I went back to my my brother's high school football coach, talked to him.
Oh, wow.
And I was on a deep personal journey of, I never want to leave everything on the table again. People would kill to be in that position.
That's right. And
I left it on the table. Just 100% dropped the ball. And so, I was just hungry, walking up to anyone who I thought had a good perspective, asking, how do I build mental toughness? How do I overcome? And I got some good answers, but not until I looked into the 75 hard thing. I saw you and Kyle made a shift, and you guys were determined. Nothing was going to stop you guys.
That's right.
And I started listening to some podcasts. I started looking into a lot of like the SEAL teams and their mentality and how they go about things. I was making progression on my own. I had some really good tournaments since then. I had a really good season after that. But
what did you learn? So when you're through the podcast and the people that you went and got answers from, what were the things that you learned that you believe helped made that shift and held you there?
What really got me there and got me to do it was actually doing the work, doing 75 hard, and then changing my mindset completely. What got me to change was saying, I'm going to do this with a purpose, and I'm going to get up. I was reading, I don't remember exactly who it was. It might have been a David Goggins quote. I think so. It's like, what am I capable of today? And that totally blew my mind, because every day, like during the work week, or my whole year, I would look forward to these tournaments. And there's only 3 big tournaments, like for the MLF series. There's 3 of them, and then there's a championship, and then there's a couple WAN basses. So I'm waiting my whole year for these 5 weeks, right? And I realized you can't just expect to show up to one of these things and change how you've been living every other day. Like, it starts right now, right today.
Yeah.
You have to choose to get up and get after it. Like, what am I capable of today? Whatever that means to you. So, yeah, whatever that means. What are you capable of? I was capable of doing well or possibly winning that tournament.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I did not live up to my potential. And that right there is, what am I capable of? Just me. And like, there's always going to be someone better than you. There's always going to be some other factor out there. There's always outside influences. All you control is what's going on in here. What can I accomplish? And that's basically that. Listening to everyone, doing the 75 hard, it all came together as unleashed, basically, what could I do? How far could I take this?
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you prepare more with fishing, or were you just did you just start taking everything serious in life?
Everything serious. So what's crazy is the fishing thing, I've built that skill for years. You'll never know everything. It's an ongoing learning experience.
Yeah.
So the fishing thing, in a way, it comes easy to me. And why I made this mental shift was for fishing, but my whole entire life changed because of that. Like, instead of skipping or being half-ass at work, why? What's the point of doing something if you're not going to do it with intent?
That's
why
right.
why would you even show up? Why? If I think about these tournaments, if I knew hindsight, my mindset, like, why would I even show up? I'm going to lose. So my entire life started to change, where I get up and I go on a bike ride and let's see how far I can push today, and wipe myself out. And next thing you know, let's see how long I can ride my dirt bike for.
Yeah.
And it's that progression every single day. This is someone else's quote, but like, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
That's right.
So why not try to better yourself every day? And that is what totally changed in all areas of my life. Just go wide open.
And that's where, so when, I'm going to translate this real quick. So when you're going, if it's mountain biking, if it's riding motocross, if it's work,
Yeah.
what it sounds like you're doing is to build the strength to overcome those mental battles. Because when you're mountain biking up a hill or seeing how many laps you could do on a track, that shit gets hard at a point.
Yeah.
And you're wanting to quit, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like if it's fishing or whatever it might be. So what it sounds like you're doing is you're putting yourself in these positions, one, to be the best you could possibly be, but build the strength around that little voice in your head saying, hey, you don't have to do this, don't do that. You're beating the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
Every second. So whatever gets thrown at you or comes your way, you're prepared mentally to take on whatever gets thrown at you.
Yeah, and be uncomfortable. That was the thing. Like, nothing ever happens when you're comfortable. Nothing ever happens. You'll never win sitting on the couch. Like, when you're out exercising, you have in anything, it gets to a point where you either quit or you keep going. And you are capable, all of us are capable of so much more. I took one of our friends bike riding, and it was hot. I'm talking like 110 out, and it's our friend Brock. He's like, oh, I haven't ridden in a long time. And I took him out, and I hauled ass. I pushed, and he's dying back there. And my dad was riding with us too, and my dad's like, hey, you should take it easy on him. I was like, he's 23 years old. He can do this. He just doesn't know he can do this.
That's right.
And halfway through the ride, he got to the point where he's dying. He's laying on the ground. He's all cramped up. He's sweating. And I'm like,
You did it.
You're fine, dude. Yeah. And then he caught a second wind, and by the end of the ride, he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm like, I knew you could do that, but you didn't know you could do it.
That's right.
Because I've been doing it so much. I've been riding these stupid trails in the heat. That's another thing is everyone loves excuses. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, this, that, the other. No, it's like, just do it. Just try it.
Because the conditions are, When you actually win big, the conditions are never.
Oh, they're always stacked against you.
That's right.
Yeah, it's never going to be a cakewalk. And if it is, it's not worth it.
So now knowing that, guys, how do you overcome those things that are holding you back? Knowing that you win where the conditions are bad, you're signing up for bad conditions in everything you do in your life. Now knowing that, what's holding you back? It's all in here. That's all it is. It's right in your mind. That's the only thing that's holding you back today. And you could overcome that. I want to share a little bit about kind of what I went through as well. So I call it my 4 weeks of hell. This was, we did that workout probably a few days right when I got out of it. I think I was in June or July, guys, and I just went through a nasty ass spot in my life. It's super dark. I'm trying to find the best way to put it. As I've talked about in other podcasts, guys, is I've built and created this amazing life for me, and I get so focused on what's next, and I don't always get what's next. Believe it or not, like I have a lot of big goals. I have a little small goals out there. There's a lot of things that I'm working towards, and more than not, I don't get it. And so what I ended up looking at for me, or the mental battle that I faced, I was looking so much on that next win, that next thing I needed to do, and when I didn't get it, it started defeating me. And I just got to a place where I just didn't care for much, didn't want to really be around people, didn't want to talk about people, didn't want to exercise even though I did it. They're still half-assed. Didn't want to eat good. Like all the things that like made me, like I kind of just like gave up on, you know. Business was doing good, so I didn't have like all these things that I wasn't able to get. If I didn't get them, I was comfortable, right? Like I already had like life was good, life was set up, and I believe I talked about this in the first episode a little bit, but it's just like, what am I doing all this for? Because like I've checked off a lot of these things on my bucket list as a kid, and like I didn't know what was next, you know. And what was next were these other wins I was trying to get that I just couldn't get ahead of, and it just felt like the whole world was coming at me at one place. And I'm like, after a few people have brought up to me that like my demeanor, my attitude, like I'm not myself. I knew that down on the inside, and now other people are seeing it, and I'm like, I need to put this shit together. And I remember like the good days where like I'm feeling like super good, and I'm like, how do I repeat that, right? Because the mental battle is now taken over me where I didn't feel worthy and all these things that I was just like, I don't know. And so I started thinking about like all those the things that made me feel good, and I start when you earlier talking about like you just take action, like you go put in the fucking work, and that's what you do. And that after going through it for 4 weeks, which is a huge amount of time, I started taking action. And guys, during this time, I spent a lot of time coaching people on my team, coaching people, random strangers out there. Now I'm running this show. And so that thing in my head is like, I'm coaching other people how to get better, but I'm fucking just falling apart myself. You know, I'm at rock bottom. And so that just started eating me up too. And so I'm like, you know what, if I built this, if I built all these things in my life, I built this family, if I married my dream girl, I built this business, I could build myself out of the hole I'm in right now. And I'm sure you probably looked at some of that stuff when you talked about it. Like you fucked up in that match in fishing, you shit the bed, but you started, you're alive, you have a amazing wife at home, like all those things. And you start realizing like, hey, life's not too bad. So when if you're in a spot where this mental battle has taken you over, you need to start thinking about, the first thing I did is, what are the things that are going right in life? And that's going to help build that confidence piece in the other episode that I talked about. But you'll start building this confidence, looking at the wins that you've already built and how great your life already is. And this next thing that you're looking for, all that stuff is an addition. If I win this, if I get this, if I accomplish this, you need to start looking at as a cherry on the top. And so that's what I did. And then I said, okay, well, like, what makes me like feel good? And again, I talked about in episode 1, but I was doing my exercise. So I signed up an hour and 15 minutes a day, spend 5 minutes reflecting. So I sit there and think about, like, how did the day go, like reflecting on my day, reflecting on the entire past, and then like all good things, and then visualize, like, what do I want the future to look like? Like, what's that? I have to be working towards something, but I also need to understand what I have, and that's why I did a little bit of reflecting. I still read 20 pages of a self-improvement book, followed a diet, and so like I'm checking all these wins, and I'm entering the day with endorphins and feeling great. There's a bunch of other things on that list, but you could hear it in episode 1. But I started taking action on it to build my confidence, but also build my mental strength. I signed up for a checklist that I had to get done every day. And there's times where I'm up super late at night because I have to finish it. And I learn if I give in and don't finish these things on my checklist, then I'm going to give in on other things in life. And that's not going to be good. And that's when things fall apart, just like how it just did. And so I really built that formula that built me to be me. And then I run with it. And I've been better ever since. Yeah. And it sounds like you've done the same thing. Your list and what you do is everything that you sign up for in your day, that you do it with intent, and you make sure you win whatever you signed up for.
Yeah, exactly. And winning, we talk about winning all the time, and winning could be anything. So like how I judge a tournament day that's going good, or even a bad day. A bad day, I didn't catch him, but I could fish really good. I could execute everything and fish, or just, I could be an animal out there and not weigh a big bag. And that just happens. But I look at little wins. So, for example, and you have to appreciate these little wins. Yeah. It could be anything. Like, today, I'm going to get to work on time or early. And once you do that, you keep it rolling. Like, I'm going to eat something. I'm not into eating healthy. So today for lunch, I'm going to choose the healthier side, or I'm going to cut something out. And it's little wins. It's not just like a big, giant, I'm going to win this race, win this tournament, right, make this much in business, do this. It's little things, every step you do. And what a big thing I admire about you is you never leave things the way they are. Like, for example, with yourself, if you don't get stuck in that rut, you're always willing to improve. You're not just, I've never heard you say, I'm the way that I am. Like, things are not just what they are. You're always trying to better yourself. There's always a better way to do things. And my mom has taught me since I was little, there's always someone better than you. And when people say that, it could be even yourself. There's a better version of yourself out there. That's right. It keeps you humble. Like, if you think you're the baddest dude out, if you just think you're a bad motherfucker and you are the best, there's someone better than you.
That's
like,
right.
God, there's a way God will you will be humbled. Like, that's the truth, right?
Yep.
And I remember you going through that, and one of the biggest things is it even got me going, because I was in the middle of 75 hard when Dylan was going through this 4 weeks of hell. It's like I saw it switch, and all of a sudden he started grinding again. And there's always something to work on. We're humans. Yep. We are imperfect. There's always something to work on. That's right. And if you go about your day as, what can I better, even a little bit, what can I do better today? Grateful. And I know for a fact when you start exercising with intent, because I think the biggest part of building mental toughness that I learned from all this is you have to push yourself. And the best way I've learned is exercise and being uncomfortable, doing something sustained for a long period of time, yep, and pushing past it. The next thing you know, my whole life has changed, where I'm grateful. Post 75 hard, basically my whole mind shifting is, I get up every day and think, this could be my last day. Let's get after it.
That's right.
Say I love you and kiss your wife a little bit longer. Make sure you call my mom and dad. Like, if you have something going on, like, for example, I had a dirt bike and I saw one I really wanted. You know what? I had 10,000 excuses not to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteed to make it to the end of the year. Why not live?
That's right.
And just intent. I see you live with intent. I see
Thank
people
you.
around me live with intent. And, man, it could be everyone's different. Everyone's on their own journey, but everyone has something they want to live for and what they're thankful for. And you just get that ball rolling. And, like, yeah, you got the ball rolling and you just...
And you have to keep it going, too.
Yeah, momentum helps.
Yeah, because if you don't, if you stop signing up for things or taking on these challenges or trying to overcome these mental battles, as Jordan talked about earlier, if you could go up or you could go down. There's no, hey, I'm here and sitting in the middle. You have to consistently build that muscle, or that muscle will get weak and it'll eat you again. And I think a lot of people that I've seen that are become successful, and then they would say they sell their business or whatever it is, and they kind of go sit back on the couch and chill, they become worse than where they were when they started, because they've saw everything that they've been able to build, and then they just kind of gave up from there. And it just ate them alive. And so when you guys figure out how to overcome these mental battles and start accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish in life, you got to keep signing up for more and checking off more, and understand that those are additional wins. You're good. You're content where you're at, but content for a human being is never enough. The word, like we could all say, I'm content. That's just another word of saying I'm not happy. Content is like bored.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm here, right? And so sign up for more challenges, but when you do it, it is so important, guys, that you see these challenges all the way through, because how you do that one thing is how you're going to do other things. If you sign up for it and you don't go as hard as you should, you're going to be in trouble. I'll just talk about today for an example. I have to exercise before I come into work. If I don't exercise before I come into work, like I don't know if it's because I've been doing it for a long time, but I rely on those endorphins to get me through the day, or else like I should not talk to anybody until I exercise, because I'm just a tenth of a person, you know? And so I, yesterday's Labor Day, went and hung out with some friends, slept in a little bit this morning, and then I had meetings stacked up. And I said, okay, I know how I am. Do I walk into today without my exercise and go jump in front of these people? Or do I just take it on the chin and say, hey, I fucked up. I shouldn't have stayed out so late. I'm going to cancel my meetings. I want to make sure I get my exercise so I could come in here and perform the way I need to perform. I took it on the chin, said I knew better, shouldn't have stayed out late. But I started my win today by I stayed true to myself. I got my exercise in, and then I went and performed at work, and feeling good about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's always room for improvement.
That's right.
And there's always people, and there's always time. We have so much wasted time, and time is precious. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go through some takeaways. As Jordan was talking about earlier, and I wrote this down before the show, but I want to share it. Is you guys see an athlete training for whatever they're training for, which is called football. They're in the preseason, they're practice, just to go win that game. As hard as that athlete trains for that game, you need to be training that same way to go win your game every day. And so if you don't know what that practice looks like or that training looks like, you need to really dive deep and go build that for yourself. Because what's happening today is if you're not practicing and you're not setting yourself up to go win that game, you're showing up to that game unprepared. And if you go into that game unprepared, those battles are going to eat you up and spit you out. over and over and over again. So what I want you guys to do today, tomorrow, and the following after listening to this show is build your training program and run that training program every single day to go win at what you want to win, or to go accomplish what you want to go to accomplish. It's very easy thinking about that, right? We're literally just showing up each day, hoping we get through it, hoping we win. What practice are we putting in before to make sure we go accomplish what we want to go accomplish? That's one of my takeaways from you. What takeaways do you have?
After all of this hindsight, training my mind and getting after it and doing things with intent, those mental battles, now I don't have, it's not a choice. Like, I'm going to face it head on.
That's right.
Before, when I'd lose and I would let that win, that's all I could think about. And I knew I was leaving things on the table, but my biggest takeaway is winning these battles and fighting that voice in your head and overcoming. It just becomes a part of life. It's not a constant struggle. Everything's a struggle, but in your mind, you just decided it's going to be hard, so it's just hard. And you decided you're going to face it head on, then that's just what it is.
You're not going to quit. You have to see it through.
Yeah, and it's not even, the battles are always there, but you're always going to you charge it. Sometimes you lose, but you know what, and whatever it is, if you keep your mind right and you just charge it, it's worse to think back and go, wow, I really left all that on the table, and then, wow, I really gave my best today, and that was my best.
Yep.
That's my biggest takeaway.
That's right. And if you literally gave it your best, you feel damn good.
Yeah, even if you lose, you won. You know you won.
That's right.
Because you lived up to what you could do. Like, you know what? I did it, and I tried. And I tried. You know, a lot of people say they try, and they didn't really try.
That's right.
Eventually, if you give it 100% and you always max things out to your potential, you're going to end up winning. It's just how things work.
That's right.
And those battles,
it's not going to it might not be tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's going to take a while.
That result is going to choose when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, that was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sitting here just processing as Jordan's been talking, and he laid it down today. Jordon, I wanted to thank you for coming on the Do Good Movement show and helping contribute to our society through real life events that you faced, and just you being humble enough to talk to all of us and share your stories. I learned a lot. Again, I'm just processing through all the information. I'll go back and listen to the show a few times. So just on behalf of the audience and myself, I wanted to thank you for coming out.
Oh, well, I'm humbled to be here, and I thank you for even reaching out to. A platform like this is really cool, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, do good. We'll see you soon.